To all the supporting organizations, associations, exhibitors, participants, delegates, visitors, magandang umaga to all of you. It gives me great pleasure to extend to you a very warm welcome to the second edition of ProPak Philippines, the second international processing and packaging trade event for the Philippines.
My congratulations to the organizers and all the participants of ProPak Philippines 2020. We continue to thank you for bringing in investors, beautiful shows like this to our country. And this is a good medium for our local domestic markets to be introduced to our foreign partners abroad. Thank you very much at mabuhay kayong lahat. Maraming salamat po.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, ProPak Philippines is now officially open.
So we come here to Philippines to attend ProPak because this is continuous boom in the food industry here, and also some people looking for new technologies and new processing technologies.
We are very happy with this ProPak organization team. Everything is more bigger than before, so we are happy to be here.
Everything's been going swimmingly. Exhibition set up easily. We're located close. It's a convenient venue for the exhibitor.
Yeah, we have a lot of customer visit us and a lot of potential customer too.
The show's been going well. It's good because it's targeted at the people we want to talk to. So it's not just like the general public, unfortunately. The people you're talking to are generally interested.
It was the first time that ProPak came to the Philippines. And during the first day, it was an insane feeling that we didn't even have time for a lunch break and everything because there was people pouring in even during the last day. Because we were expecting that it was only on the first day, and then as it progressed, it would be lowered. But actually, the intensity was continuous. So it's actually amazing.
You know, the interesting thing about ProPak is they're a very well-established brand in Southeast Asia. It's our duty with the various regions around the world.
This is really needed in the ecosystem to upgrade the innovation capacities of our companies here in the Philippines. So congratulations to the organizers and to the stakeholders, the ecosystem of packaging, and maraming salamat sa inyong suporta.
We are very interested in your country because we are really things just can be in a position to offer you a very good, our production range can fit with the needs of your country.
The business here is not bad. Yesterday we got quite a sizable good inquiries. We hope more to come. As the business is concerned, they are very professional, very good. We got a good support.
Everything is doing well. The organization is doing great. They're doing the job good. And of course, this is a great venue for all of us.
Every year, take part in the ProPak Asia, ProPak Thailand in June every year. Business opportunity is increased.
Yeah, I think the organizer has tried their best and did a good job promoting the product and the whole event. And we hope that it can get only better. Hopefully next year it get bigger and then we can reach out to more provinces around Philippines.
It's a good show because it's first time of Philtech to join ProPak Philippines. So we have our major customers coming in. We meet new customers from other industries.
Since the day one on Wednesday until today, so we have many potential customers who visit our booth, and we have very good results by face-to-face meeting with them and introduce our products. I believe we have a very good result coming from this ProPak exhibitions.
The show has been great. We're very happy to be part of it because we've been participating in all the other ProPak in the region. The turnout has been very good.
The show is going good. It's definitely a great show here, and it's an advantage to be here. Well organization, well done, anytime again.
ProPak is giving a good setup here for a business, and we are also coming here with our full setup with machineries and all our details.
I think that the universities in the Philippines have very high levels of packaging engineers, packaging technologists, food scientists and food technologists, and they're all eager to learn and add more knowledge. So it's a really good platform for them to come to shows like this, gain some additional education and training, and take it back to their local businesses.
Good morning, Asia. Good morning, good afternoon, or even good evening, ProPak friends. Of course, depending on where you are in the world, we are actually on our very first episode as we bring to you our ProPak Philippines webinar on emerging trends in processing and packaging during pandemic, broadcast by Informa Markets through the Zoom platform. I am Clarke Nebrao, and I'll be your host today. Before we begin, we just have a few announcements. This webinar is actually pre-recorded. However, the questions you have raised when you registered will be answered by our concerned speakers. You may also participate in the question and answer session that takes place at the end of the presentation. Our speakers and competent team will just respond as soon as possible. Towards the end of the webinar, we will also ask you to please complete our survey. And so take a minute to fill this out. And before you leave, please make sure to click that fill out form and have our survey forms. Your feedback will provide us with valuable information on how we can improve future events. So, as not to delay our excitement, let us begin with a session on the Asian packaging solutions and how COVID-19 has affected the trends. Let us all welcome the Secretary General of the Asian Packaging Federation, Dr. Pattra Maneesin.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me here today. I would like to share my experience on how to ensure the packaging safety. Nowadays, since everybody knows that the coronavirus or the COVID-19 had affect our everyday living. First of all, I would like to share with you my slide, which I already prepared something for today, my presentation on ensuring packaging safety to testing. May I start with you by telling you some information regarding the Asian Packaging Federation. The APF or Asian Packaging Federation is established in 1967 in Japan. We are now have about 14 executive members from the country in Asia, including Australia. The activity include the conducting seminar, training, and also exchanging knowledge on packaging. We also conduct the Asia Star Packaging Competition. Every year, we gain some interest for all people who want to win packaging award. Back to our presentation. Back to my presentation today, I would like to share with you first on the global packaging industry. The global packaging industry is expected to cross over $1 trillion by 2020. It had driven by the growth of emerging industry, consumer looking for safety and convenience of packaged food products. In addition to consumer expectation in developed industry for safety, portability, convenience, and product freshness. However, the environmental issue will also affect the use of packaging, especially on plastic packaging. Thus, the sustainable packaging market alone is expected to grow from nearly 225 billion US dollar in 2018 to over 310 billion by 2024. Let's take a look at the packaging industry in Asia. Two big countries, the Chinese packaging market was estimated at 604,000 million units in 2016 and should grow at average growth rate of 5.4% to reach around 800,000 million units in 2021. With a turnover of 24.6 billion and a growth rate of 19% to 15% annually, the Indian packaging industry is expected to reach 32 billion US dollar by 2020. And demand for packaging paper and board segment is expected to grow at average of 8.9% and will reach 11.1 million tons in 2021. Let's take a look back in Thailand, where I stay. The packaging volume in Thailand is expected to is approximately 4.63 million tons in 2018. The growth rate is around the growth rate is about 3.9% per year. The Thailand folding carton and corrugated packaging market was valued about 14,000 million in 2019 and is expected to reach 2,200 million by 2025 at average rate is around 8.4%. This comes from the survey from the modelintelligence.com. Let's take a look at the packaging trend nowadays. Nobody can refute that the growing of e-commerce packaging is growing very fast in exponential rates. The effect of e-commerce packaging will happen for the demand for transport and tertiary packaging directly from manufacturer to consumer or B2C is growing. Next trend beside the e-commerce packaging will be the green packaging. Now we're talking about reduce, reuse, and recycle. And anyway, we need to think about that, how we can do the recycle packaging concurrently with the safety use of package. Last year, we talked about reuse and recycle, but nowadays we come back for the single-use package. How we can produce the single-use package with minimum use of raw material or try to use as less as possible of packaging material in order to reduce the social burden on taking care of the packaging waste. Another trend for this year or next 5 years, you will see the senior, the aging society, the baby boomer on 1960 now become older, getting older. So the development of senior friendly packaging is coming. We are looking for ready to eat and ready to cook packaging, smaller size package. The packaging will be very convenient to use and need to be very, very safety to use also. Let's take a look at the growth of the e-commerce in Southeast Asia and China, and also including in Australia. From 2016 and we come to 2020, which will be the forecasting. The growing rate is around 19%. The amount of e-commerce sale in China, Southeast Asia, and Australia will grow from 436 billion US dollar and will be growing to 869 billion US dollar in 2020. Let's take a look at the Thailand e-commerce market. The revenue from 2016 to 2021, we expect in all categories that sell, including electronic, toy, hobby, DIY products, furniture, apparel, fashion, even food product and personal care. The revenue on e-commerce market is almost double, increasing from 2,450 to around 5,308 in 2021 million US dollar. What will happen between the traditional and e-commerce packaging? What the difference? You can take a look at the table. The parameter that we normally concern about the packaging, importance of appearance and size, strength and durability requirement, standardization of products and package mix. Now, instead of concern more on importance of appearance and size, for e-commerce packaging, we now looking for strength and durability requirement and also standardize our products and package mix in order to reduce the amount of packaging material that we use to make the packaging. And how to ensure that the packaging have sufficient mechanical strength in order to protect the product inside. We need to do some kind of packaging testing. The objective of packaging testing is to select the proper packaging that we need to use with minimum cost. The packaging testing also help to control the quality of the package. Both manufacturer and also the end user need to take care of the good quality packaging that they need to use. And they also require to investigate the packaging specification. The packaging testing will help to check whether the package that you receive comply with the specification that you order. Take a look at the packaging testing. What we need to know or what do we need to have before the testing occur? We need to check the packaging standard, the testing standard that we can use. We can get from the International Organization for Standardization or the ISO standard. We can use the ASTM standard. We can use the Japanese standard or Technical Association of the Pulp and Paper Industry or TAPI. This standard normally for paper and paperboard only. The BS standard or business standard, and also in Thailand we use the Thai Industrial Standard or TIS. Next thing that we need to know about the packaging testing after we receive or we get the standard that we need to use, we can take a look at the conditioning of the package. For the tropical country like Thailand and the Philippines, normally we use the 27 degrees Celsius and 65% relative humidity. For ISO standard or TAPI or JS standard, which is the temperate zone, They normally use 23 degrees Celsius with 50% relative humidity. For ASTM standard for the US, you will see they have two different time zone or different area. Some use 20 degrees Celsius, 50% relative humidity. Another area like in California or the area that's more hot and humidity, they use 20 degrees Celsius and 65% relative humidity also. Let's take a look at the table. You will see we have different standard test methods for almost the same product. For example, if you want to test for bursting stain of paper and paperboard, we can follow TAP-BT 810 or ASTM D2738, BST1T7, ISO 2759 as an example. It depends which standard that we need to use. It depends on what is your exporter, what is your target market. If you want to sell the product to the US market, you may need to comply with the ASTM standard or ISO standard, which is accepted worldwide. But for people who want to sell locally in Thailand, they may just follow TIS standard or Thai Industrial Standard. Another example for standard test method for some kind of packaging material. But for packaging, for testing for performance of the package, I can tell you into two categories for testing of transport packaging, and also we have new standard for packaging for e-commerce. Because now the growing demand for e-commerce market, how to ensure that the packaging can protect the product from the manufacturer until the consumer without any damage. We don't want to receive any product that we cannot use, but we want to receive good product in a good package. Let's take a look at the test method and factor for the transport package first. Normally for testing for transport package, we have a standard for ISO standard, and we may use the ISTA standard. ISTA standard is a International Safe Transit Association, which is a worldwide organization in the US market and the US with issue some new standard for transport package that we can use by road, rail, and for transport package. But we can use ASTM standard or ISO standard as well. Let's take a look at the ISO standard. We first have to do conditioning first in order to make sure that all the package that we receive are in the same condition. We have to control the temperature, humidity that I tell you before, and normally we can condition for 24 hours or 48 hours. It depends on what kind of package. If it made from single wall corrugated paperboard, we can condition just only 24 hours. And if it made from box, it will need to condition for 48 hours in order to make sure that all the layer or the paper are in the same condition. Then we will have the stacking test. We have to control the load that we need to put on the package. We may use the dead weight, or we may use the compression tester, and then we control the weight or mechanical loads that we put on the package sample. And then we control the time that the package have to expose to the load itself in order to check whether after it come to 24 hours, the package the package is damaged or not. After the stacking test, we have compression tester. We need to check for maximum load that the package can be withstand, and then we can simulate how we can put the package in the warehouse, and during the transport and handling, how much load that can put on the package, how many layer, how many stacking layer that we can put on the package without damage product inside. Then we need to do the vertical impact by dopping or dop test, and horizontal impact. Sometimes people do this test, but sometimes not, because this one will simulate the dop test. That can be happen if we transport by railway, because it can drop on the horizontal, not only the vertical. And then we can do vibration test and water spray testing. Let's take a look more detail on compression strength. The compression strength or compression test is the ability of the container to withstand vertical load with constant rate until it deforms or until deformation occurs. This test will relate to the stacking ability of the container. We will receive how much load that the package can withstand in the warehouse or during transportation. The standard test can be ASTM D642, TAP PT 804, or ISTA standard. The equipment used will be the compression tester. For example, for comply with ASTM D642, ASTM 642, the testing speed will be 12.7 plus or minus 2.5 millimeter per minute. The sample size will be 5 boxes, and we also have the compression tester. We put the sample between the compression tester, and then we let the plate coming down and apply some force on the top of the package, and then we record the maximum force that the package can be withstand. Next test will be vibration resistance. It will determine the mechanical strength of the container and packing procedure in order to protect the product from vibration hazards during transportation. The standards may be ASTM D999, TAP PT 817, ISO 2247, ISTA standard. The equipment can be vibration table, vibration simulator. For example, this test uses vibration simulator. The amplitude or displacement is about 25 millimeter. Frequency is allowed 2.5 Hertz. Why we use 2.5 Hertz? Because 2.5 Hertz is simulate the frequency of the truck during the truck transport the product from the warehouse to the consumer. It around 4 Hertz. So we apply the test around 4 Hertz, for 1 hour. And then after that, we check for the damage of the product inside the package. Another test will be the DOP resistant DOP test. DOP test will check for ability of the package and the product to withstand mechanical hazard due to vertical impact. It also helps to determine mechanical strength of the containers and the suitability of the packing procedures. The reference standard will be ISO 224S, ASTM D5-76, and TAPI T802 and ISTA standard. The equipment will be the DOP tester. Here you take a look at the DOP tester. This one, the new one, and this one, the old one at the Thai Packaging Center. Either one can be used because for DOP test, we allow the package to expose to vertical impact by gravimetric force. So it can comply with ISO standard, ASCA standard, and ACM standard. Anyway, the DOP height also depends on the weight of the package. The smaller package will test at the higher DOP height because it's easy to DOP from the during handling, during transportation at the high level. Then we will see another test. It will be stacking test. Stacking test will check for the ability of the container to protect the products from stacking during storage. The reference standard will be ISO 22T4 or ISTA standard. The equipment used will be stacking tester, or we can use just only dead weight. We calculate the dead weight, that how much weight that we can put on the packet and the products, and then we put the weight on top, and we leave the weight on the product for 24 hours or 48 hours, and then we check for the damage of the products. And if you had the compression tester, you can use that compression tester to test it. This slide shows you how to calculate for stacking load calculation. How much weight that we need to put on the package, we can calculate from this equation. This one comes from the ISTA standards. Stacking load in kilogram can be calculated from total weight of the package, and stacking height and the safety factor. For ISTA standard, they suggest that we use the safety factor for 3 in order to make sure that the box can survive during stacking. The photo also show you the stacking test. Can you use in this kind of equipment, or use just the dead weight put in the products, and then we know how much weight that we can put in. This one show you the photo of the horizontal impact test or incline impact. This one that I told you, some people may test this if you want to transport by rail, but normally not so many people test because this one not happen very frequently, because this kind of test simulate the damage due to rail transportation that may occur. So the reference standard will be ASTM 4003. Another test that I would like to share with you is about the packaging for e-commerce. As you may aware that the growth of e-commerce around 20% each year, and after COVID, even in Thailand or in Asia, people stay home, they order delivery some food product or some good from the supermarket. It is important that you need to make sure that the product that you receive you will receive it in good condition. Then the several, I think it's several online platform, for example, Amazon, Lazada, also try to develop some kind of test method in order to make sure that the package for e-commerce will be go well and in good condition will it arrive at the consumer. For example, this one is ISTA and Amazon developed the standard test method for e-commerce fulfillment for parcel delivery shipment ISA 6 Amazon.com overbooking. It can test for either single item or multiple item packed on the same package. They also establish some kind of sample size that we need to use. It depends on the weight of the product. Is the product less than 50 pounds or 6.8 kilograms, and the product is larger or weight more than 50 pounds, and also have separate the product into two categories, non-fragile and fragile products. Then if we want to test it, we need to check whether the weight of the product and product is easy to deteriorate or it can withstand some load during transportation. And almost the same thing at the transport package that I showed you before. They're also concerned about the conditioning of the package before testing, as shown in this slide. And then they also show you the calculation of the top loading or the weight that you need to put on top of the package during testing. And the top loading in different products, we need to check for weight that we need to use. And then the next step, we will have the testing procedure. The testing procedure will tell you what to do first. For example, the first step, we'll do the atmospheric preconditioning, which is required to test by ISCA. But then we go to second step, the atmospheric condition. This one is not required. And then we do shock test, vibration test, and shock test again, and then do integrity testing or leakage test. They also tell us about the testing procedure and testing description. For example, for vibration testing, we should do the random vibration with top loading and the G level of 0.53. For vertical impact with accelerated G or shock test, they need to test for 8 times. And this one also required to test. And leakage test will check for only the liquid products. We place the product on the floor and check for 8 hours if any leak occur or not. This one example of the testing show you in this slide. So you start first with the press the sample at room temperature for 16 hours at a pre-conditioning, and then we skip the conditioning number 2, and third step we do the 9-point dot test, and then fourth step we do random vibration with top load, and then we do top dot test or shock test for number 10 for 17, and then for liquid product we will do leakage test by visual inspection after the sample is placed horizontally on the test area. I would like to spend a few minutes telling you about the Thai Packaging Center. because all tests that I explained to you before, we also conduct it at the Thai Packaging Center. Thai Packaging Center was established in 1984 under Thailand Institute of Scientific and Technological Research, Ministry of Higher Education, Science Research and Innovation. We are now located in Bangkok, Thailand. Our mission is to improve and maintain the quality of products, decrease losses, increase export, and upgrade packaging standard of the country to serve the needs of both government and private sector. Our activity include research and development in packaging area, testing of packaging material and containers, modern equipment, and standard test method. We also disseminating of packaging knowledge and conducting seminar and training program on packaging. Here we can see our testing facility. We also provide testing of both packaging material and container using modern equipment and standard test method. Our testing facility is ISO 9000 certified, ISO IC 17025 certified, and ISTA standard certified. We also provide UN or United Nations mark approval for export packaging of dangerous goods. Anyone who interested in testing of both packaging for export products and packaging for e-commerce, you may contact the Thai Packaging Center in Thailand. I would like to end my presentation with my last slide. Thank you for your attention. I hope that you learned something from my experience, and any more information, please contact me via email at pattra_m@tistr.or.th. Thank you again for your attention.
So the first question for Dr. Pattra, please tell us more about Asia Star Packaging Awards. How can businesses, individuals, and students get involved?
Regarding the Asia Star Packaging competition, this year is quite difficult for us since everything delayed due to COVID. So we expect to open the call for entry this year. 2020 Asia Star Award competition call for entry will start in late August, I believe. And then we will do the Asia Star judging in November or September. Up to now, we will decide next month before we open the call for entry that we will do the online judging or we'll do the judging during the Board of Administration meeting in the Philippines. So how the student or how the packaging manufacturer can involve with the Asia that start this year, we will open the call for entry, and then people who are interested in apply to the Asia Star Award, they need to get the national, they need to win the National Star Award in their country. For example, if the student or the packaging manufacturer in Thailand want to enter to Asia Star Award, they need to win the Thai Star Award competition in 2020 or in 2019 or in 2018. We want to just 3 years back, not more than that, because we don't want to have how to say the old version of the award with not update or not concurrent with the theme of or the theme or the activity of the social situation of 2020, something like that. So just more detail or information regarding the Asia Star that you may find from the APF website at www.asianpackaging.org. Thank you for your question.
Next question. Will there be a new normal policy or regulations to ensure product and consumer safety during the pandemic?
In my opinion, up to this point, I don't think there will be new regulation regarding the COVID safe package. But I think for new normal, we switch to the new trend that last year we talked about the recycle package. We talk about reuse packaging. But after COVID, we will see new practice that single-use packaging, how to get safety package, how to get safe food by safe package. So new practical now, I for my opinion, I think that everybody talk more about single-use package. Everybody look back to the flexible packaging. Even last year, we deny or we refuse some plastic because it have the effect on the packaging waste and also how to take care of the packaging, how to take care of plastic packaging because it increases waste and it can destroy within a few years. So now this year after the COVID-19, we look back to plastic again. Number of flexible packaging are increased, and because of the growing demand for e-commerce market, paperboard packaging also increased, and the use of packaging for delivery increased. That means that we need to take a look again on sustainable packaging, how to use the packaging by reducing the social burden on taking care of the packaging waste. Maybe use single-use packaging with reduce the packaging resource or reduce raw material. For example, the paperboard packaging which is thinner, the plastic packaging which is thinner, or single layer packaging which is easy to take care than the multi-layer package which is difficult to recycle or difficult to taking care in the future, something like that.
Okay, next question. What are the recent trends in meat, poultry, and ready-to-eat packaging?
For food packaging, maybe I should take this in general for food packaging. Is and I explained before about the single-use package. Now for packaging for delivery. So how to use packaging to ensure the safety of food products. For example, meat product or poultry product. Not only safe products, but we need to get the package that ensure the shelf life of the extend and ensure the shelf life of the product within the time that we need. So I think now we may interest in smart packaging, which can tell us about the expiration dates by change the by the changing the color on the smart label, which is easy to notice by the consumer. And we also need the package that can be used for convenient food, because if you go for e-commerce market or food for delivery, the package should be easy to microwavable, and also it can be easy to prepare. So the package that can put in the microwave and can mix everything together, and we can just reheat a few minutes before eating, which provide convenience to our life, will be the thing that the people want and looking for in the near future.
Thank you so much for the valuable information, Dr. Pattra. It was an eye-opener to actually really protect the product at all costs, especially now that the e-commerce industry is growing with the various packaging testing that you have presented. So friends, don't forget to maximize our chat box and the Q&A button for any suggestions and clarifications that you have. Our team will actually respond accordingly to all your questions and clarifications. So now, to tackle about dating COVID-19, dates and on food packages, let us all welcome the President of the Philippine Association of Food Technologists Incorporated, Dr. Maria Leonora Francisco.
A pleasant good morning to everyone. I am here to represent the Philippine Association of Food Technologists Incorporated. We have been a partner of ProPak Philippines since it started 2 years ago. And so we would like to thank the organizers for coming up with this webinar series. This morning, although the title of my presentation is Dating COVID-19, we will definitely not have a serious date with the virus. Nobody wants that. Instead, what we are going to discuss would be the importance of dates or shelf life on our processed food products during this time of COVID-19. By now, we should all be familiar with the 4 main functions of packaging, where each one of these functions comprises a number of different technological, engineering, and commercial objectives. The first one, the primary and obvious objective of the package, is to contain the product. This is essential for the efficient handling, transportation, storage, and distribution of the product. Second, in the case of foods, this is without any doubt the most important among the functions of packaging, protect. By placing a more or less effective barrier between the food and the environment, the package protects the food from physical, chemical, micro, and macrobiological attacks from the exterior, and thus has a decisive effect on the shelf life of the product. Third would be convenience. Convenience has long been and continues to be among the chief selling attributes of foods, and packaging contributes considerably to the convenience factor in many ways. Adapting the size of the package to the needs of particular consumer groups, such as family size, individuals, and nowadays food service delivery, is one of the steps taken by industry to enhance product convenience through the package. Lastly is communication. The quantity of information printed on a food package has increased constantly. Locally, from 6 mandatory labeling requirements, we now have 11. In addition to text and graphics, serving the purpose of product and brand identification and product promotion, the printing usually includes essential data, such as list of ingredients, nutritional data, shelf life and/or a limit date for selling, price, a barcode, and information needed for product traceability. So the dates on food packages is under the communication function of food packaging. How important is a date? Back in 2015, me and my student did a face-to-face interview with 100 mothers from Caloocan City to explore the knowledge, attitude, and practices primarily on nutrition labeling of Filipino consumers. But we included a question on what do mothers look for in food labels. A very high percentage, 92% of the respondents agreed that they search for the best before date or expiration date of the product. What about in other countries? A look at the consumer food purchasing behavior and awareness of food safety in China, a considerable number of consumers preferred to buy food from a supermarket. And while in the supermarket, they paid more attention on number one, expiration date on the food label, food color, and the nutritional content of food products. As for the US consumers, an online survey of 1,042 adults determined their use and knowledge of food date labels, as well as their propensity to waste food as defined by disposing of food, which would likely still be safe for consumption. The majority of the respondents, equivalent to 81.6%, reported using food date labels. However, only 57.4% correctly identified what best by, use by meant, while 68.1% and 79.7% correctly identified the definitions of expiration date and sell-by date, respectively. Food date labels are commonly used by the food industry, and for the Philippines, it is mandatory to put the shelf life date. But majority of consumers all over the world are still confused about the date is all about. Consumers may mistakenly believe that food label dates are meant to convey information about the food safety. But in many instances, label dates are set by the food producer to indicate quality or freshness. So for purposes of standardizing the definition, as far as FDA is concerned, best before date and use by date differs. Best before date is the date which signifies the end of the period beyond which certain quality of the products will be expected to deteriorate. Emphasis is on quality, whereas use by date is the estimated shelf life of the product has ended, beyond which the quality and safety of the product has significantly deteriorated. Emphasis on quality and safety. And lastly, the correct format is date, followed by the month, followed by year. Shelf life dates are thoroughly studied by food scientists, yet we can only give an estimated shelf life. And coming up with estimated shelf life depends on several factors. One is formulation. We have here as an example from the original Spam formulation to a less sodium type of Spam. Formulation changes such as replacing the type of acid, removing nitrates from a processed meat, and in this case, reducing the amount of added salt can change the shelf life of the product. And almost always, the addition of preservatives or antioxidants can extend the shelf life of the product. Next is processing. We have here tomato ketchup packed in glass bottle, a plastic bottle, and a pouch. It is the same formulation but processed differently. It can be either hot-filled or cold-filled, and that will have an impact on the stability of the product. Next is the type of packaging. We have here, for example, different closures for a Tetra Pak. Each type of closure gives different levels of stability, thus shelf life. And lastly is how to store the product. Exposure of the product to variable temperatures and relative humidity, for example, in the supply chain, including the retail environment, can affect the shelf life of foods. For refrigerated products, higher than optimal temperature storage can accelerate microbial growth. Oxidation reactions are also accelerated by higher temperature exposure, thus shortening the shelf life of products. You've probably seen how frozen products are stored in supermarkets. Doors of some freezers, especially the chest type ones with sliding doors, most of them are not properly closed. So most products are already thawing, and that will affect the quality of the product. So at this point, how can we use package dates in time of pandemic? COVID's impact on the food system was swift and dramatic. Panic shoppers, unprecedented retail shortages, an overstressed supply chain, and food manufacturers challenged to meet surging demand while keeping their employees safe. We actually have some questions here from the participants asking about the risks of spreading COVID through food preparation and packaging. As early as April 2020, the WHO already issued this infographic on how can a consumer grocery shop in the time of COVID-19. So we have the usual physical distancing, wearing of face masks, application of sanitizers to sanitize the handles of shopping trolleys or baskets before shopping. And then once home, we are advised to wash our hands thoroughly and also after handling and storing our purchased products. As of today, there is still no confirmed case of COVID-19 being transmitted through food or food packaging. Now, while there is no evidence of human or animal food or food packaging being associated with the transmission of COVID-19, the circumstances of this pandemic are creating concerns about food safety vulnerabilities and risks throughout the supply chain. A June 2020 International Food Information Council study indicates that nearly 70% of consumers are still confident in the safety of the food supply, but COVID-19 is now the top food safety issue, with food handling and preparation among the top concerns. In general, what are the impacts of COVID-19 on retail consumer behavior? Health considerations have become more influential on purchasing decisions, with consumers trying to eat more healthily and consuming products in a bid to boost immunity. Familiarity, comfort, and improving mood are also seen as increasingly important factors for food and beverage choices during the crisis. Health, shelf life, and cost are taking on a greater significance with regard to purchasing decisions, while factors such as flavor and indulgence appear to be declining in importance. Research from Innova Market Insights indicated that the main changes in attitudes or behavior, for example in India and China, included more cooking or preparing of homemade food, or more healthy eating, and more eating or drinking products to boost immune health. Consumer attitudes, behaviors, and purchasing habits are definitely changing, and many of these new ways will remain post-pandemic. While purchases are currently centered on the most basic needs, people are shopping more consciously, buying local, and are embracing digital commerce. To manage isolation, consumers are using digital to connect, learn, and play, and they will continue to. Moving forward, we will see an increase in the virtual workforce as more people work from home and enjoy doing so. So first, we have experienced panic buying. Supermarkets have been overwhelmed by increased purchasing because of panic buying amid the outbreak. During this unsettling time, retailers need to ensure food and supplies are well stocked in order to meet with consumer demand. Significant increases were observed in sales of frozen food and impulse snacking items. Nervous consumers hoard groceries. According to an international survey, nearly 4 in 10 said that they were buying more shelf-stable pantry foods and buying more groceries each time they shop. Nearly half of the survey takers said that they were eating more home-cooked meals than 1 month ago. And nearly 1 in 3 reported that they were ordering less takeout or delivery than usual, while 16% say they were ordering in more often than they used to. With the safer at-home order, many of us are looking to food stocked in our pantries and cupboards to help feed our families. So what do dates on food products tell us? If the date is passed, is the food still safe? For a product with best before dates, in most cases, yes. Dates on food package labels are generally quality dates, an indication to the consumer that if the product is stored properly, that it will retain quality up until the date marked. Dates on food packages are not safety dates. It is also very important to follow the first in, first out rule. This rule means when putting newly purchased food away, move the older food items to the front and the newer food items to the back. This method helps lessen the likelihood of older food items getting lost in the back of the cupboard or freezer. While others prefer to go grocery shopping in stores, the number of consumers doing online grocery shopping has been increasing. We have several apps available, and here is one of them.
MetroMart is a on-demand and online grocery and store delivery service. We enable consumers to purchase items online via their website and mobile app, and we deliver those items to the doorstep within 9 minutes. It allows customers to go onto our website and select the different types of products that we offer, such as products from the grocery vertical that we have, XM, as well as pet food. And basically, as soon as they select the products, we will then receive the corresponding order and then allocate them to our runners and shoppers who will then purchase the products with the entire process within 90 minutes to do that. MetroMart is a
So there has been an acceleration in the growth of online grocery shopping as movements are restricted and physical stores cannot easily be accessed. The rise in grocery apps in China, for example, encompasses developments in supermarkets, dedicated grocery apps, and food delivery platforms. As consumers shop in person less, 16% report that they have started shopping for groceries online. 13% report increasing the frequency of online deliveries. It makes sense then that 16% also highlighted online grocery shopping as a step they are taking to feel comfortable with the safety of their food. A report by iPrice Group in the Philippines showed that Filipinos stocked up on food with long shelf life. Searches for canned foods grew by 412%, while biscuits increased by 310%. But what is the assurance that our shoppers, those hired by these companies to do the shopping for us, are carefully buying the items we want? If you recall, the video that I showed you earlier promised that within 90 minutes, items will be right in front of our doorsteps. And if you notice the shopper, they are so focused in terms of getting the right product, such as brand and the weight, but seems like not looking at other important parameters, such as expiration dates. And so by the time that you received and inspected the products, the delivery personnel already left the premises. We hope that these companies would also train their personnel to inspect the dates, the appearance of the package, such as making sure that there are no dents, for example, in cans, that packages are properly sealed, and so on and so forth. And as for the consumers, we hope that you would immediately inspect the products delivered. Lastly, not only do we have online grocery shopping, we noticed an increase in the number of online sellers. We have, for example, two of the most popular sites. We have Lazada and we have Shopee. Those who were greatly affected by the pandemic resorted to online selling. We have several small retailers selling local products on digital platforms. The way in which food is traded and sold directly to consumers is changing with internet or e-commerce emerging globally as a new platform for selling food. This presents new challenges in terms of the way information on the quality and safety of foods is provided to customers. Currently, there is a lack of standardized guidance for the labeling of food sold via internet sales or e-commerce, which raises significant issues pertaining to health, food safety, and the protection of fair practices in the food trade. While some countries have adopted regulations specifically related to e-commerce, the growth of this platform and its transboundary nature means that it is important that some consistency is maintained at a global level to ensure that consumers are protected and impediments to trade that may arise from different approaches are minimized. In line with its strategic plan to address emerging issues, the Codex Commission therefore agreed to address this topical issue by undertaking new work on the labeling of food sold through internet sales or e-commerce. So as an example, let us say we would like to buy a milk powder. Let's say we'd like to buy an Alaska powdered milk. Okay, and then we click the first item shown on the website. So what we can see is only the front label. The front label of the package. And if you're going to scroll down, the only details presented are these. Specifications, the model, the SKU. And then when you look at the reviews, most would talk about how neatly packaged the product is, how fast the delivery, but look at this one. It says the milk was actually old stock. And this one, which was bought last May 15, the product will expire next month. Now, another practice would be that we should be wary of would be repacking of processed foods. Only those who have the license to operate, to do repacking, can legally repack goods. Let's have another example. Let's look for skimmed milk powder. Okay. Okay, so this seller is selling skimmed milk powder in 1 kilo pouch. And then the seller gets its powder from this sack of milk. They even show you the expiration date of the milk, which is the milk will expire on June 15, 2021. But what is disturbing is that this seller repacks the milk in 1 kilo and copies the expiration date stated in the sack. So this is totally not acceptable. So these are some of the ways on how we can use the dates during this time of pandemic. I reiterate, let us not have a date with COVID. Instead, let us all try to help our community in giving them the information regarding our products. Let us all follow the guidelines on how to be safe and well protected. The scientific community is leading the way with record high collaboration in the race to find a vaccine and save lives. And our science of food community is doing their part to find solutions to the food challenges facing humanity. With that, thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lotis. It was actually very educational. It gives us a different take on giving importance to the quality of our products with placing the dates on it. Again, friends, just a reminder that the questions will be sent to our speakers, and we will make sure that our ProPak Philippines team will get back to you for the response. That's all the time we have for today's webinars, friends. And thank you so much to our dear speakers, Dr. Pattra Maneesin and Dr. Maria Leonora Francisco, and as well as to everyone in the audience. We appreciate your attention and your participation. This webinar is copyright 2020 by the Informa Market. The presentation materials are owned by our copyrighted and copyrighted by the Informa Market. You can download the presentations in the link provided at the chat box or at the ProPak Philippines website. Please be reminded to fill up the survey forms before you actually leave, so we can improve on our future events. The speakers are solely responsible for their contents and opinions, and on behalf of the Informa Market, ProPak Philippines, and all our guests, Dr. Pattra Maneesin and Dr. Maria Leonora Francisco, I am Clarke Nebrao saying thank you very much for all your time until our next episode of the ProPak Philippines webinar. Stay safe. Maraming salamat. Mabuhay.